Hey there! No one expected it, but due to a handsome Ukrainian guy's request, try to enjoy the return. Firstly, I believe it's better to start with some brief explanations. I haven't been on for a while now, and by a while I mean approximately 4 years. And I've been doing great. I've never purposely quit Undercards, it just happened that I had little to no time to spend online playing any games at all. Now that I'm kind of back, at least for this series, I believe it's time to regain my status of niche internet celebrity and to introduce myself properly. So, who am I?
Who am I? None of your business.
Relax. I am not an edgy teenager. I go under nickname Noah Brun, but you can also know me under these names. And many others. I played Undercards a lot in the past. In fact, I was an active player since the late 2016. I was creative in many ways. I used to play a lot and I played mainly competitively. Hit the top 1 several times, participated in tournaments, also created some content. It was of rather questionable quality, but still it kind of demonstrates the political and economic state of the game. Most of my, I'm really sorry, fame was brought to me by the 12 Days of Undercards Christmas video, made by Middle Fiddle, where I performed the greatest Undercards song in existence. Go check it out, since...
Can you believe it, guys? Christmas! Just
8 months!
away! Christmas isn't
8 months!
Woohoo! I am so happy about this information.
Then there were the dark times of my role as a tester, balancer, Leon Trotsky in the Undercards Revolution. Too long didn't read. I am an alternatively gifted Undercards player with a lot of experience behind, but I'm a good one. Just ignore all the information you get from other sources, and trust me, they lie, and I don't lie, I just make up things for dramatic effect. Now let's talk about the series. Some of you may have seen the Top Build series. It's of bad quality for now, but that's how I pictured it back then. The idea remains the same. Basically, I show to you a deck, give some vague instructions on how to play it, and show you some gameplay of my own. This is rather self-explanatory, to be honest, because this is simply a guide. The main idea behind Top Build was to show some decks which were not considered meta. Back then we usually had meta in Undercards, but now it seems kind of irrelevant. But they can still be used to climb the ladder and have some fun. The series will be called Undercard Strategies to potentially attract some new viewers, but in reality it's just a sequel to Top Build and maybe a Top Build remake. There will be 7 episodes, each one representing a soul with a corresponding deck. So today we're starting with... Bravery. So, Bravery was my main soul back in 2016, probably 2017, maybe even 2018. I genuinely love aggro decks, but now Bravery is very different. Today's deck will utilize Bravery because of its spell set, not the passive. Because, well, the passive is...
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
Brad.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
Brad.
then you tell us,
Sorry, 5 gold entity fountain from the recruitment. The deck was brought to you by Middle Fiddle, who is the best Undercards content creator, the smartest man alive, and he probably should get a YouTube icon, if you ask me. So the main idea behind the deck is you play Ambush. You literally gain a lot of value, a lot of board presence over your opponent, and then you simply beat your opponent by using these cards. Now that you've seen some Peak Diamond footage, let me explain how the deck works and some of its cards. The main deck card is Weak Ball person with a weak person. Okay, never mind. So this is actually a weak person. This card is used as an extremely strong tech card because it can simply do 2 main tasks. Firstly, it can provide you a burst damage of 10 by applying it to Salvos Crease because it doesn't silence it for a clear reason. It's a determination card. Determination is the best rarity, you know. And the second way you can use it is you can basically apply it to any cards which was damaged because it has an ability to heal, as you could see on that footage. And I will also showcase some of its usage in the future. Some other cards are only used as support means, just like this Assault card, Knight's Shield card, also Overheat and Police Blue, because they usually go together. Also, we use Stride Bird as a strong, I would say, anti-aggro, maybe anti-zoo fuel, because you can play the Stride Bird, then you can play a weak person on it, it can attack again, and it's pretty nice. Also, there are some strong 7 drops to get from your ambush. You usually want to get Suzy statue from your ambush. Sometimes you want to get maybe a mine card because it's really strong. Maybe sometimes you even want to get this totem because otherwise they're pretty useless, but sometimes they can only also be triggered during the game, and it's pretty fascinating if you ask me. Also, we have something like an Ice Drink Wolf, which provides additional resources and additional options as well. It's a great card to get, for instance, 3 damage from an ice cap. Yeah, it's pretty much like this. Also ignore this Abomination, it was added to this deck just for some additional gex, I guess, because otherwise it's pretty strange. But otherwise, yeah, it's playable. So also we have this Brian from Family Guy. He provides additional face damage, additional trade value, additional board clear options. So yeah, he's really a family guy, I would say. Now, what else? That's pretty much it. Now let's go on to some real game experience. I will briefly explain to you how I play this deck. I will not torture you by this in-game, by some live action when you have to watch me play and I just simply continue like I play this card and then I have to play this card. No. Instead, it will be a sped up footage of me with the games that I've already played. I know how they ended, and I can explain to you why exactly they ended in a victory or even a defeat as well. So, moving on. So the first deck I played against was some strange Resident Sleeper Determination. You will be facing a lot of those like control decks, which basically skip for a whole lot of 10 turns, do nothing, then die to anything because they have no strong and cheap removals, and also like board clears as well. So how to play against this deck? Firstly, you can notice that I tried to mulligan for ambush. Well, that's clear because this is the main engine, the main heart of this deck. And then I also tried to like maintain this Stride Bird in my starting hand because, as you can notice, it can be used with a weak person. It's a pretty strong combo, especially against the control matchups. Also, it's important to understand that against these guys, you need to bait out their hypergonas, their field clears, such as against patience it's usually self-reflection, and then you can simply use your ambush to summon some strong 7 gold minions, and they will finish the job for you. So basically, you want them to spend their removals on some very weak cards, such as Stride Birds, because yeah, they have some strong stats, but at the same time, they are rather weak. So as you can see here, I used an ambush on his rogues, and that was pretty much it, because as I know, he had no hypergoner. Of course, he could have one, but if he did, he would probably use it on some Stride Bird, and I would still have some huge stats left on my board, and then I would simply play something like Suzy Statue once again, or a weak person. Right now, I've decided to play a weak person on my totem, just to heal it for a little bit, and yeah, the game was over. Like, what can he do to it? Nothing, because he plays an outdated version of a very weak control deck. But even if he played some integrity, I guess the outcome would be pretty much the same. Also, speaking about integrity, I will be showing the next game exactly against integrity, because you will be facing lots and lots of them. Okay, now this game was rather, I would say, stressful. I tried to mulligan for ambush, but unfortunately I did not get it right away. But then I got 2 from my top deck, and I really wish I had some other cards to play. Also, a very important tip: when going first, you usually want to play some force drop on your second turn. It's very strong. Not many souls have something to deal with it, so you usually want to keep a police blue or a striped bird in your hand, just in case your opponent play some strange aggro deck, zoo deck, because that's the type of deck we are very weak against. As you can see here, he played Angel of Death. It's a very, I would say, weak termination card, and I didn't exactly play around it. Yeah, it's still it turned out pretty great because I just played some very strong cards, and this opponent is also a strong one because he had double removal, and I simply don't know what to do in this situation. I wanted to play an ambush, but then it simply trades off 2 cards and we have a board full of lost souls, so I decided to go for some very questionable play. Then I go for a Jewel into a kill of his Angel of Death, and it creates at least some situation for me, like favorable situation for me. But now I would just the reason I went for Jewel was to then use ambush on some of his lost souls and get some advantage. As you can see, the game is not in my favor because he has some very strong cards on his board, and I simply have a lot of damage in my hand, but it's not that helpful because he still has 22 HP. But you will see how it turns out. Yeah, for now I just simply use ambush. I get a Suzy statue. That's not the best drop in this situation because yeah, it has some overstat, but in this situation I want something to kill him with, so I want some cards that give me some resources, that provide something. And yeah, so I get a draft. I decide to go for a draft. I get some blockler and I pick it because I understand that I want some board presence, even if he decides to trade something off, then I still get some presence. This is a haste card to remove his taunt, and I understand that I will very soon go for this combo with Soulless Chris, weak person, for an additional 10 damage. Also, I have 2 crystal shards. That's what this 7 gold card is used for, just to provide you additional face damage, to provide you additional trade. And in here I go for a double trade because I want to deal as many face damage as possible and to remove his board as well, like simultaneously. That's what the Brian from Family Guy is here for. Then he simply keeps playing these golden hits. Unfortunately, he got 3 of them. But in this situation, I understand that I already have lethal, and you will see how I perform this. So yeah, we have 2 crystal shards, which is 6 damage. We have a Soulless Chris, which is 10 damage, and we also have additional damage from the board. And that's how we beat this guy. Playing against Integrity, usually you need to understand that you want to have as many strong early drops as possible, because you can simply go for a Police Blue and he will, and unless he has a golden hit or other card like Fuku, no one runs them in Integrity, you will simply gain some very important early game face damage, and then he will have nothing to deal with you, because you will simply play Ambush or play some 7 drops straight from your hand, and your opponent is pretty much cooked. But now I'm going to show you another game, a very interesting one, which ended in my defeat, just to show you how this deck usually loses and why it loses. So yes, as you can understand, the game is not only about victory, it's also about somehow losing your games, especially against some very strange decks. I have not mentioned the artifacts, but ambition is here just to send back your 7 drops in case you want to play a second ambush. Also, it's used to just cycle through your deck somehow to remove some of the cards you don't need and simply change them. In this game, I believe I made a misplay by not playing a striped board on the second turn, because I went the second, but I really hoped I could find an ambush, because against an aggro, zoo, tempo deck, you want to get an ambush and to get maximum value out of it. Otherwise, it pretty much ends with a defeat. Also, there was a second misplay. I played a Watching Man, and I clearly don't know who made this card. It's useless, and I just didn't have any better options from my recruitment. Also, I'm playing against Bravery, so any loss against it is well deserved, because let them win. Yeah, so in here I try to go for some maybe board clear. I decide to try to get an ambush, maybe to utilize it the next turn, but unfortunately I don't get one. So in here I simply don't know how to trade properly, because, you know, I'm playing against an overgrowth Bravery, and he probably has some other ways to buff his cards. So in here you can finally notice how our artifact triggered. Unfortunately it was in his favor, because he just summoned a spider croissant for free, and it was pretty much the end of the game already. I could see that I had no reason to play the ambush next turn, and I just lost this game because I had a pretty crappy hand. This happens, this deck's win rate is approximately 80% on a long run, so I basically won 14 games out of 18 playing this exact version of this deck. You can also try it out yourself, just to understand how this game works. And I finished this game by a very solid option. I play 7 spells, and then you can see how these 7 spells really turned out. Yeah, this is the best you can get out of 7 spells, in my opinion, and this should be like this always. So I just lose this game, it's okay, it's fine. Playing against aggro zoo decks, this kind of Bravery really struggles, because it has no very cheap and efficient removals. It has no Big Mouth, it has no Lauren, and adding them will simply ruin the idea behind this deck, because you cannot add any 5 drops to this deck, otherwise they will be given to you by ambush. So you don't want any 5 drops in this deck, you just want some drops below 5 gold and more than 7 gold to make this deck work. That's it, that's how you play this deck, and now I would like to finish this off by showing you some additional footage of myself playing against other players. It will be very sped up, just for you to get some understanding about how it works. And also I'd like to announce that the next series of Top Build will be released after this exact video hits 30 likes. I really want some feedback from you guys. I really want some new players to enjoy this, to get some experience, because deck building in this game is what's really important. Once you understand how to deck build, you become a god tier player, and unfortunately 95% of Undercards players cannot even net deck, let alone deck building. So I will focus on some of other interesting decks, but I need some feedback and some response from you guys. Unless this video hits 30 likes, there will be no other series, so yeah, it's as important as that. Please leave your like, leave a comment as well, and also subscribe to my channel to not miss any other new videos. Thank you for watching, now enjoy this footage and see you next time!